Hello, what have we here?
You're wrong.
Damn!
What the hell was that?
Game over, man. Game over.
You're wrong.
You finished?
Well, I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your huckleberry.
Greetings, boys and girls, lemurs and squirrels, and welcome to the Week in Geek for February 4th in the year of our Lord 2026, a wholly owned subsidiary of Free Range Idiocy, wherein we, your humble idiotics, ease up. Ease up there, Spanky.
You said we and you paused. What did you want me to do?
I took a fracking breath.
All right, sorry. Go ahead.
Calm down. You know, you need to stop having those sugar bombs before you get on. You're just rattling your teeth around. Jeez. Wherein we present our midweek dose of geekery for you.
Yeah, people.
That's the cue, is you, not we.
I thought it was we.
Fracking hell. Sit back and relax as we scrape the best news we found off the bottom of the interweb shoe and let you know exactly how we feel about it. I am your Uncle Todd, and with me, as always, is the lead editor, chief bottle washer, and Jumpy McJumperson of the Week in Geek. I give you the man they call Tim.
Greetings and salutations, my friend. My apologies for jumping the gun there for a minute. Yeah, I do apologize.
It's the same cue every week. Like, I don't change that up.
I screwed it up. I for some reason thought it was, I heard we, and then there was a pause, and I was trying to be Johnny on the spot, and I was a little too Johnny on the spot. So, my apologies.
Okay.
What more can I say? I have screwed up. I messed up with your arrangements.
Boy, can you tell he's a married man or what, ladies and gentlemen? Just like, oh, well, I might as well apologize and rather than draw this up for another 24
I take
hours.
ownership of my mistakes. Take ownership of my mistakes. Accountability, my friend. Accountability. How are you?
How many years did it take you to learn that one?
About 2.
Yes.
How are you doing?
Just enough ass whoopings is what it took. I'm, it's been a hell of a year this month, and a hell of a month this week. So, I'm just happy to be here with all of our listeners and viewers, and propped upright for as long as I can make it.
Yeah. Hey, aren't you? Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's it was an interesting week last week here in the Midwest in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
We've been operating mostly below 0 degrees Fahrenheit, which has been, I love Empire Strikes Back. I have always appreciated the opening scenes on the planet Hoth. Never wanted to live through it, but that's what I'm doing right now.
You bought yourself a townhouse on Hoth.
I did, basically.
I don't even get a tauntaun. What the hell?
I mean, I would love to, much as Luke did, just kind of dangle from a wire there off one of those hat-hats just to get to the train station in some reasonable amount of time and be warm.
Yes.
But yes, it's been interesting. It has been interesting.
Yeah, it's been chilly enough here that I just looked up. There are some Hoth National Park posters that you can get. I'm seriously considering buying one of those.
Hey, and sir, you are going to be out here in about 3 weeks.
Oh gosh, don't remind me at this point. I can't think of how cold it's
we might be in like single digits, positive single digits at that point.
Oh, goody.
Possibly.
Probably not. Not if I feel like I'm in Apollo 13, and it's like, well, if everything goes right, only if something changes for these guys. Like, that's how I feel.
Oh yeah. Well, I have a question for you, sir. I've been thinking about, now that we no longer. I
swear to God, if you mention fantasy football with a red 5, I'm gonna come completely unglued. I'm gonna lose.
I wasn't.
What little shit I have left.
I wasn't. Well,
I'm gonna go completely off my nut. All right. So I'm just warning you ahead of time.
I had a thought.
That's what scares me. Because usually you have a thought and my blood pressure skyrockets.
So in lieu of the fact that we don't have fantasy football going on right now. So I did mention one of the things that would set you off, but it was merely to say because
setting
we do not
context,
have
yeah.
it anymore.
Yes, thank God for that.
And not that I would ever, think that you would be okay with bringing back the Red 5, because I know you are touchy about that and feel, like everything else, it was the world's against you, so you can never win. I thought this, rather than it be a competition, and I have this wonderful Star Wars trivia book sitting on my shelf being unused. What if we did it as merely a educational sort of journey to see Uncle Todd's knowledge of the Star Wars universe and learn something along the way? Maybe we could call it the Yellow 5 or something.
That book is going to get used because I'm going to beat the living hell out of you with it when I get there. I'm going to record it.
Well, wait a minute.
I'm going to post our Instagram.
Help me understand, what is the problem if there's no competition?
I don't need to discuss this with you at all. I don't need to talk about this. I don't need to explain a damn thing to you, okay?
What about the interest you might have in doing something like this? Like, I would just ask you questions.
Okay,
if you know it, great.
You want to know what my interest is in doing
learn.
that? You want to know what my interest is in doing that?
What?
None.
Really? Why?
Don't you want to through saying I don't have to explain anything?
Educate yourself a little bit. You don't want to explore the lore of the Star Wars universe? You could be our Sherpa.
Is this because your kid didn't load the dishwasher? Is this why you decided to inflict this on me?
Not at all. Not at all.
Because that's not my fault.
Not at all.
Okay? I feel like Han Solo, no light speed. It's not my fault.
It just occurred to me earlier today. I said, well, he's at a genetic level doesn't want to do the Red 5. So what if we augment it a little bit, take the whole it's a competition thing out of the mix, and it's just me throwing a few questions at him from the Star Wars book.
Okay.
What's the harm in that?
I will take it under advisement.
Okay.
And I will have
I'm trying to
an
be very
answer for
reasonable
you
here.
Oh, you're trying to You're trying to get me so upset with myself, so upset right now that I'm going to soil myself. That's what you're trying to do. That is what you're trying to do.
Oh, yes. No, it's not, but it was the suggestion I wanted to make.
I will take it under advisement.
Okay, well, I'm noting that in the show's minutes, and we will revisit it next week to see if you've come around to, give it a whirl. Because why not? Why not? Well, anyways, as we make our rounds throughout the interwebs and all things sci-fi and entertainment, we will jump in with our first story here for the Week in Geek. A little something I call wishful thinking about Silo Season 3 coming out in 2026. I saw this article and I got excited because I watched Silo. And if you've seen seasons 1 and 2, it is a really well done show. Season 2 ended on a little bit of a twist and a little bit of a cliffhanger. And so, very much interested in when it will be coming back. Unfortunately, this article is, I think, nothing more than rumor with no guarantee of a date.
Has Sam Esmail been attached to this one as well?
No, not Sam Esmail, but it's basically making an argument for why Silo Season 3 would have to come back in 2026, even though there's no confirmed date or anything like that. I got suckered at clickbait. I got suckered into the clickbait. But nonetheless, it does mention...
You are one more email or risky click of the day away from being put into the home. You know that? I'm just saying. We might not meet up. You might not be able to get a weekend pass out by the time I get there.
Well, I could surprise you.
Okay.
But
we'll see if the keys have been taken away by then.
Well, we'll see. But filming for Season 3 has, let's see. So filming for Season 3 started before Season 2 concluded. It has wrapped as of September of last year. And I believe they are starting to film Season 4. I'm sorry. The third season wrapped filming in May of 2025. So it's been a while. It's been a while since they've wrapped filming.
Yeah.
And again, this is all building up to the idea of, Silo could come out. And then it argues, well, if it came out in the second half of 2026, the whole like bridge of this is like shows like Pluribus and Severance, which are fan favorites. I haven't seen Pluribus yet. I've heard very good things about it. Severance I've seen and enjoy. But the whole idea is that with Silo coming back, it would be a nice bridge, for when those shows eventually do come back. But Severance is not expected to be back until 2027. And then Pluribus, let's see.
That just came out. Right?
That just came out, so it's got to be a while. In the meantime, though, it does bring up, the article does bring up, hey, if Silo's not going to be around for a bit, guess what we do have? We have Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Isn't that a show you watch, sir?
Yep.
As well as we talked about For All Mankind, which is gearing up for its 5th season. That's going to be starting in March. And then there's other shows like Foundation, Murderbot, and Dark Matter. So all that to say, this started out as a, hey, wouldn't it be great if Silo season 3 start, looking forward to it in 2026 too. We don't know when. And if it doesn't happen, well, here's all these other shows that could happen. So it was a very strange article, but I just thought, hey, it's on brand for us. So
it's total clickbait. And the thing is, like, what... Here's the thing that's aggravating to me. Like, I appreciate the fact that the series are, in many ways, higher quality these days. Like, we get higher quality, close to movie quality series now.
Yes.
However, let me actually go back. I've said that many times as the justification for why sometimes it takes like 2 years for us to get in between seasons.
Yes.
Battlestar Galactica was putting out some pretty effects-heavy episodes and seasons, like 20 some odd episodes per season, every year. Mm-hmm. I mean, a writer's strike or two in between there, but they were chunking out Star Trek: The Next Generation was cutting edge for its time, and it was chunking out like 20 plus episodes. Like it is kind of disappointing to me, like the pace of television these days, and the fact that we're given like, oh well, it's this and that. It's like it's literally less than half of what a normal television season used to be.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a lot better effects, but yes, effects have also in many ways become easier to do. We have much more computing power. What is the friggin' holdup? Like, why does it take us like 3 years to get an 8-episode series?
Mm-hmm.
It's frustrating to me, and it feels like one of those things where this should be streamlined by now. Like and the thing is, like, I get like the idea of, I do appreciate getting a story for a season. I also kind of miss like the old days of like, you just have some random ass episodes that were just kind of filler.
Yeah. Sometimes
those were the episodes that were really interesting, or were the weird ones that you're like, oh yeah, that was kind of a cool, weird episode. Like you go back to friggin' Galactica again, like the Bulldog episode was a really interesting little self-contained story, and some of the different episodes there that you're kind of like, it didn't necessarily link up to the greater, long-term story arcs, but they were kind of cool episodes and they informed about the universe.
Yeah.
I kind of miss that.
Yeah.
And I especially miss not being able to go, oh, hey, this series finished in May. I guess when September rolls, or when next whatever rolls around, that we'll have next season. Are you kidding? It'll come out in 3 years. Like, well, hell, how am I like, it shouldn't be like Tron, where it takes like 25 years in between every movie. Yeah. Like, I forget what happened last season. Now I have to go back and watch them again.
Yeah.
It's kind of aggravating. But, old man yells at clouds.
Indeed. So from our friends at ScreenRant.com, Silo's Season 3 expected return makes waiting for Apple TV's sci-fi masterpieces easier, even though it's not confirmed to come back. So
you're really digging on Silo?
Oh, yes. We love that show.
Huh. Okay.
It's good stuff.
I couldn't get into it.
Oh, you tried watching it?
I did, and like I think I watched 1 or 2 episodes, and the problem for me is I read the books, and
so the problem is you're reading, is what I hear.
Well, yeah, it is actually. But it's that thing of sometimes when especially because I read Wool, which is the first Silo book, quite a few years ago now. And then I reread it when I decided to finish the series. And so it's a 3-book series, and I read them, all before the show started. And so I had very kind of exacting ideas of what these characters looked like, what the world looked like, all of that.
Yeah.
And then when I see it, I'm like, that's not what I pictured. Like, this is not the world that I had imagined. And then, of course, I mean, they're making changes because you kind of have to in order to make the world work a little bit better.
Yeah.
But even with some of those, I'm like, that kind of takes away from the story, I feel.
Yeah.
Maybe I had to give it another try, but it just, after a while, I was like, this is not what I had in my mind. And I could not.
You should
bridge
try to
that
get
gap.
through a season for the first season and just see what you think at that point.
You say that about every show that you like, that I'm like, I'm not going to.
Because you need to give it some time. I mean, Ted Lasso, it took a couple episodes. It wasn't like it hit me right away like, oh my God, this is amazing. It took a few episodes like, okay, got it. Schitt's Creek, same sort of thing. Took a few episodes, got into it. You need to give it some time.
I ain't got time.
They're not all winners.
That's very true.
Got to look at the aggregate, my friend. The aggregate.
All right. Thank you, Billy Bean. Jeez, we could assign David Justice to the podcast next.
We might.
Where's Scott Hattie-Berg?
Maybe we can bring them in to do the Red 5, and you can sit back and just have a drink and not stress about it so much.
Last show for no alcohol. By the way, this is coming up. Wednesday.
Are you back, baby?
Next week, maybe.
Oh, next week. Okay. Yeah, I am not either. I've had 2 straight nights of bourbon, and I think I've had
debauchery.
My fill. I think I've had my fill for a while. So
yeah, that could be anybody's ass.
That's right. Well, we're going to stay within the realm of ScreenRant.com, and from Silo, we move to another Apple TV Plus property, which is For All Mankind. Except it's not For All Mankind. It's going to be the fact that there's going to be a shared universe being created.
Frack me.
No, you've heard about this, and you were actually excited about it. My goodness.
Was I? What?
For All Mankind spinoff, Star City will focus on the Soviet side of the space race. And so this article is touching on how, much in the same way that the draw for All Mankind was the alternate history that it presented. The article points out that, the Soviet side of the space race has never really been told, like we've seen the United States side of it told over and over and over again. Not really very familiar with the Soviet one. And so the idea here is not that this would be a retelling of the actual Soviet side of the space race, but it would be this alternative universe where the Soviets land on the moon first and it's off to the races with the United States. So we would essentially see the same timeline. Now, I don't know if they would pace it the same way as seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4 of All Mankind, but that's kind of that's the sense I get of it a little bit, which to me is a very interesting way of just wringing that washcloth out just a little bit more. I mean, it's not a bad idea. I mean, it's not a retread. It's not a retcon. It's almost like, I mean, you and I loved it when I'm forgetting the name of the special movie that was done, but for
Razor.
Battlestar.
Yes, I was just thinking that. God,
was it Razor? Is that what it was? Razor? No.
Yeah, yes, it is. That's what we. Well, so there's Razor.
It tells the Cylon side, right?
Well, that's the plan. So
the plan is what I was thinking of.
Yeah, but oh my gosh, the fact that I was thinking along those lines and that you were, it's kind of frightening. We've known each other far too long.
We are brand loyal, if we're nothing else, my friend.
Apparently, we're linked at the cerebellum too, which is terribly frightening for both of us, really.
The medulla oblongata.
Hitting this, the occipital, what was it?
Which, by the way, there was a call-out in the Royal Rumble to that at one point.
Good old Gorilla Monsoon got some time, got some love on the Royal Rumble, which is great. Oh,
phenomenal.
my gosh.
Phenomenal.
Okay, I mean, I could be talked into this. Yeah, it'll be interesting because the plan was one that I was thinking of, but Razor also did a similar thing in terms of like telling kind of the backstory of what happened on Pegasus.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they do sort of like what they did with the plan, where they're choosing what they're showing, because rather than do like almost mirror that, they're kind of like, all right, and there's no time to tell you. Let me sum up. So it'll be interesting how they pace that.
Yeah.
Well,
now,
damn
there's
it.
no date being given for this, but
That is such a Ron Moore thing to do now that I think about it. Like, he's like, I've got an idea. They're like, but you already did that. Shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he only did one. I mean, it was basically a it wasn't made for TV movie, but it was essentially like a movie version of that, right?
Well, I mean, it was made for TV. It was a sci-fi
was it?
type thing.
Okay.
I think,
Okay.
did they release it in theaters? I mean, it was literally the last thing that was shot for Battlestar Galactica.
Okay.
And they were, because after that they were literally bulldozing sets.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because for some reason I didn't know if it was like a DVD only release or something like that, but no, that would make sense, because it was
sure it aired on
released not too
Sci-Fi.
long after the series wrapped, I thought. So
Yeah, and Eddie almost directed it.
yes, yep, and what else? In the article it says, you touched on this, Ronald D. Moore plotted out a multi-season plan for Star City that incorporates real-life details he found while researching the Soviet Union's 1960 space program, which was based at the titular secretive facility. Additionally, it will examine the pressure placed on cosmonauts and scientists by the USSR government. So, sounds interesting. I would, I'm very much a fan of For All Mankind, and I wouldn't mind seeing this. And the way they kind of cross things over. In fact, I'm also interested to see, because unlike what happened in reality, because I believe we last week or 2 weeks ago marked the day of the unfortunate Challenger incident. In this show, in the alternate timeline, it is the Soviets, I believe, that have a launch that was supposed to be historical of some nature, and then they had an accident that actually I think it was an accident where the Americans could have warned them, and they didn't, if I remember right. The gal who the gal who worked at what is it in Houston?
Johnson Space Center.
Johnson Space Center. The gal we followed, she ends up in Russia, and then anyways. I thought during season 3, maybe season 4, she comes to an understanding that they have a flaw in their rocket design, and I think they were going to communicate it, but then they don't for some reason, and then they end up basically the Soviets have essentially a similar accident as to what we had in 1986 with the Challenger. So I think with this series, it'd be kind of interesting to see the lead up to that, as well. So, but yeah, Star City, no idea when it's coming, but hey, sounds good to me.
Well, yeah, I could roll with that.
All right. Well, let's see. What do we have next here? We're going to move off of ScreenRant.com. Do you have anything else on this? I didn't know if you were like looking something up on your end. You look like you're dutifully resorting something.
I did. I was actually changing up my and another thing for this episode.
Jeez, how many times are you going to do this?
At least another 3.
Probably. Just make sure you don't change any of your Royal Rumble picks. All right. Nonetheless, from our friends at superherohype.com by way of Yahoo, shocking doomsday theory says Doctor Doom debuted in Avengers 2?
I love these. These are so great. Like, Doom has been hiding in plain sight the whole time. Yes. It's because now that we've gotten Mephisto, like, this is the new thing.
Well,
so
and
lay it on me.
Much to your joy and happiness, this is not from your friend My Time to Shine Hello.
Well, I'm actually kind of disappointed.
Oh,
who's this by? Mongoose Pate 32.
I need to scan the article some more. I don't know. It's a Reddit theory.
Oh wait, you didn't AI generate this?
No, I did not.
Wow.
No, I did not. But the theory claims that Doctor Doom appeared in the MCU as early as Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Okay.
And so in one scene, Scarlet Witch shows Thor a vision. Thor stands inside a large hall. that many now identify as the Castle of Vendôme, and a green hooded figure appears beside Hemdall in the background. I don't remember this scene. I need to go back and watch Age of Ultron.
I don't remember that either.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure what they're talking about here. And then there's another vision in Age of Ultron where Tony Stark. Now this I do remember. Tony Stark sees his team lying dead on a distant rock in space.
Yes.
A different version of Iron Man, believed to be Dr. Doom, stands in Stark's place. Many viewers now interpret these visions as early signs of Doom's hidden presence and influence throughout the timeline. I don't quite remember this different version of Iron Man bit, but I have to go back and check that out. And then the theory continues that in Loki Season 2, fans suggest the Citadel at the end of time is Doom's recreated castle beyond space and time. The hooded statues that appear inside the Citadel are now thought to represent Doom himself. Let's see. According to this theory, Doom once ruled the Citadel before He Who Remains defeated him, and then He Who Remains created the sacred timeline to erase Doom's existence and prevent his return as a multiversal threat. And then, lastly, the theory connects to Infinity War, where Doctor Strange examines possible futures and identifies Doom as a greater threat than Thanos. This interpretation argues that Strange allowed Stark's death to stop Doom's rise. The line, "I see a suit of armor around the world," first spoken in the Age of Ultron, now defines Doom's ideology in Avengers Doomsday, where Robert Downey Jr. portrays a Stark variant who I love how what was once theory is now apparently fact, because we still do not know if if Doctor Doom is going to be a Stark variant. That's the, of course, popular and overriding opinion. But nonetheless, sir, what are your thoughts on the varied pieces of this theory? I don't recall two of these, and I do recall the final two, but I still don't understand how this means Doom was present.
So I just looked up Age of Ultron, and I was finding that scene, and there is like a minute moment when a green hooded figure goes through, and there is a little bit of a sinister noise. However, like it's not.
If you pause it right at 23:45, you see it.
It is very momentary, but it's also like in a bunch. It fits in with the scene, like of other folks in that kind of universe. And so what was the third and the fourth one? Because I just real quick, because I was searching Age of Ultron.
Okay, so the first two are from Age of Ultron, these visions. The third one was from Loki Season 2. It was just that fans seemed to suggest that the Citadel at the end of time, where He Who Remains was residing, you get some shots of the inside of it at certain points, and the hooded statues that appear inside the Citadel were thought to represent Doom, with the idea that He Who Remains defeated Doom and then created the sacred timeline, which then erased Doom's existence because there is not a multiverse.
And then the last one was Tony's armor around the world.
No, the last one was Doctor Strange examining when he was looking at all the possible futures, and the idea being he identifies Doom as a greater threat than Thanos. But then it goes on to say this interpretation argues that Strange allowed Stark's death to stop Doom's rise. So I don't know if you saw a future of Tony not becoming Doom, but kind of going in a direction as Doom would go. But yeah, that's kind of the thought there. Yeah.
Some of it, I mean, it's thin. It's wafer thin.
It is,
and it's great that people are this into it, that they're willing to parse through all of this stuff, and we get all these little tenuous links until it actually proves to be the thing. Though to me, it's a bunch of coincidences and circumstance that you're tying together with very, very, very fine thread. And all it's going to take is like one line from the upcoming movie to completely demolish any, if all of these.
Yes.
Because there was there's a thing I saw on Instagram, which I think I might have sent to you, where it was like, because I guess in one of the comic tellings that Tony Stark is in fact adopted, and that's why in the Time Heist he has a puzzled look on his face, because he's like, well, wait a minute, that's not my birthday. It like the timing isn't right. Like he does the math and well, huh? And the idea being that the real son of the Starks is Doom. But he is a shame to the family because of blah 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 or whatever. Or no, it's a different. It's Arno Stark or something like that. And there's something going on there. But the idea is that Doctor Doom would then be the real son of Howard Stark. And it's like, yeah, and conveniently he looks exactly like Tony, who's adopted. Like, okay, weird.
Hey, it would be a great twist though, because Tony is the one with the goatee and he's not the bad guy.
True. Yeah, it's just one of those things where some of it just starts getting a little too cute when you realize stuff is planned out, but it's not always planned out. It's not always planned out as well as we think. Like a lot of the stuff, like you listen to the podcasts and the director's commentary for BSG back in the day, and they talk about we really didn't know who the Final Five was. We didn't really know what that was, and we didn't really even think of it. It was just something we came up with in season 1, and then we kind of saw, hey, what about that? And they didn't say in season 1 the Final Five are these guys. It became okay, what would be interesting? It's it's not always planned out 20 years down the road.
Yeah,
and it's okay, I kind of think it's thin. I don't think that's the thing. I might be wrong.
You think it's wafer thin?
I think it's horse pucky.
Alrighty then.
It's a bunch of balderdash.
My goodness. Is there any more ballyhoo? Any more chicanery that we need to discuss?
Nah, it's just bullshit.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. What?
I don't know, dude. My brain is firing on 1.5 cylinder right now. So
that's all right. I am very quickly adding to the end of our list here because I forgot about one person.
Okay,
all right,
moving you're along. Adding another 5 items? Sure, why not? Hey.
No.
Let me just go put some coffee on. I'll be good.
We're going to stay in the realm of Yahoo being our Sherpa, if you will, some of this entertaining news. But this becomes by way of Yahoo Cinema Blend.
Oh,
the latest Thanos return rumor has us hoping that the MCU is giving us one of the Mad Titans' greatest showdowns from the comics. And what it is alluding to, this comes from scooper Daniel Richtman via
is it
comic
alludement?
It is not. Well, I wouldn't say lewd. I'd say it's a bit horrific, but I wouldn't say it's lewd.
Oh, okay.
Claims that Brolin is set to reprise Thanos in Secret Wars.
Okay.
This will be the final movie, of course, of MCU's multiverse saga. And it would mark the 6th time he's portraying the character because in addition to all of what he's done in the Avengers, he also voiced the alternate versions of Thanos in the What If series. But
let's not forget Deadpool 2.
And yeah, thank you. That as well. Yeah. Well, he wasn't Thanos in Deadpool 2. That's what it was. That's what it was saying. He voiced
pulling double duty.
Well, fair. But let's see. I'm just checking it out here for a minute here. So assuming the newest rumor is accurate, it will bring Doom into conflict with Thanos, and just like how Tony Stark,
Tony Stank,
basically snapped away the alternate timeline Thanos, snapped away that alternate timeline Thanos in Endgame. I think we'll see Doom destroy whatever version of the Mad Titan surfaces in Secret Wars. So apparently in the comics, when Doom and Thanos face off, and this is where it gets a little gross, Doom basically, he just doesn't put Thanos down. He essentially rips his skeleton out of his skin. So,
ooh.
Yeah, he done, he roots them. He pulls them roots, and off we go. So Thanos attempts to kill Doom as part of an insurrection, and he got his skeleton torn out instead, as seen in the image in the article. Given that this is the multiversal saga, the article then states if Thanos does, it's possible for him to appear as a variant, of course, and then potentially go through that. What else? Yeah. So that's basically what the article is getting at. Thoughts on Thanos appearing, if only to play out this rather disgusting fight that apparently he and Doom have, just to show really what this is Thanos in the Brock Lesnar role to Doctor Doom's Cody Rhodes.
I kind of think that's underselling Doom a little bit myself, but
well,
you know.
I'm saying it's meant to elevate Doom, by virtue of him destroying.
All right.
Or maybe if Obafemi destroys Brock Lesnar.
See, yeah, there
okay.
we're talking.
All right. I know. You have no idea how much I was laughing when he came out number 1, and I'm like, oh my God, if number 2 is Penta, someone listens to our show. Sadly,
it totally. And we'll get to that. Anyways, I mean,
gosh.
Sure, why not? I mean, it'd be an interesting showdown for sure, and it would be also very interesting considering you have RDJ playing another person who's going toe to toe with Thanos again. I do not think that we are getting the skeleton withdrawn from the body, because.
You don't think Doom's going to grab him by the goozle?
I think he'll grab him by the goozle. I don't think he'll remove said goozle. Because I mean, let's face it. Like Marvel there's an R-rated portion of the MCU where Deadpool lives.
Mm-hmm.
I do not see them wanting to put one of like the major tentpole movies of the MCU in there.
Yeah.
After all of the rest of them have been PG-13. Like, I don't see that happening. So, like, all these folks are like, oh my gosh, we're going to see. Like, no, you're not going to see the skeleton ripped out. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it seems a bit graphic for the audience they're going for.
It's definitely. Not it couldn't be a cool visual. And I mean, hey, they're fictional characters, so I'm not, CGI on CGI violence. I just don't think it's going to happen that way. I think a showdown could be really cool. I think you could probably almost get some of that same gasp sort of effect with a much less gruesome visual. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Again, it seems like they're trying to pull out all the stops for these movies to right the ship and to kind of neaten up what's been going on. I think there's a better chance of this than there is of Doom inhabiting the Citadel at the end of time and then having to try and explain Kang without Kang being there.
Yeah.
I think there's a much better chance of this than there is of that, because that becomes very, we don't mention him anymore. Like, it's not that we don't talk about Bruno, it's we don't talk about, him.
He's no longer he who remains. He's who we don't speak of. So.
Yeah, which I don't even know that they can do that, because then Universal are going to sue their ass.
Yeah.
So you've got that going for you as well. It's that sounds like a lot more likely and a bit more interesting too. So yeah, sure, let's do it. Why not? Do all the things. It's not costing me any money.
It would be interesting as a way to continue to assert Doom's dominance in the who is the baddest of the bad by having him easily defeat Thanos and and not as like in such a cartoonish way as like Vision did in like What If, that was just ridiculous, when he just like zips him right in half and you're just kind of like, oh,
I mean,
okay.
It was funny, but it is also that thing of like, wow, Thanos was the big bad, and now it's like all of a sudden he's getting jobbed out left, right, and center to everybody. Like Thor just thwacks his head off.
Yep.
And then you've got Vision's just like,
yeah.
And now we're gonna have Doom like
Well, I don't know if I have as much of an issue with Thor thwacking him, because that was a weakened.
True,
Thanos,
but it was like the beginning of this. Like, okay, now it's like, my God, is Thanos going to AEW? Or are we just like jobbing him out until he leaves? Like,
good
Lord. Like, I didn't know we were going to bury this guy.
Thanos is going the Sami Zayn route apparently, which we'll talk about in our next episode. Next episode. All right. Well, are we good on this? I think hey, we both would be bullish on Thanos being in Secret Wars. We both, I think, are in agreement that the nastiness of however this plays out in the comics can stay in the comics. But yeah, it'd be kind of interesting if Doom kind of took Thanos down a notch. You know what I mean? That wouldn't be a bad thing.
Yeah. Sure.
So we'll see. All right, moving right along. Will Thanos? I already talked
Hey.
about this one.
Yep.
Sorry. So we're going to. We have a new addition to the portfolio, Uncle Todd.
Oh boy.
Are you ready for this one?
No, I'm not. But go ahead.
From GeekTyrant.com. New addition to the portfolio.
I kind of like that name actually.
We
I'm
have
a little
rumor.
pissed that we didn't come up with that. Damn
I
it.
know. We have a rumor that Filoni's Mandoverse movie may not stay a movie. And where this rumor is drawn from is basically back. It's rooted in the idea that at Star Wars Celebration in 2023,
Mm-hmm.
we had the announcement of all these movies: Star Wars: Dawn of the Jedi, Star Wars: New Republic, Star Wars: New Jedi Order. 3 years later, nothing's happened with any of them. And now that Filoni is kind of taking over creative, there's new rumors suggesting that Filoni's long-teased Mandoverse crossover might be heading for a major format change. Really, the long and the short of this article is, if Mando and Grogu does not perform well at the box office and does not meet the expectations of Disney, it could mean that Filoni's movie, which was to do a version of Heir to the Empire with Thrawn and with the crossover of Mando and Ahsoka and all these characters, would end up moving to Disney Plus and be kind of like a limited series instead of a movie. So that's essentially the rumor, and it is only a rumor. There is no let me see, there is a name in here. Let me find according to a new report from Daniel Richtman, Filoni, I don't know who Daniel Richtman is, but Filoni's New Republic movie isn't locked in as a theatrical release. So I guess that New Republic movie is the one that would be Heir to the Empire, I guess. And it's still technically alive, but its future may depend heavily on how Mandalorian and Grogu performs at the box office this summer. The article does go on to say we haven't really seen a lot of marketing for Mando and Grogu. We've really just only got like the trailer that came out a couple months ago. But it's also a few months away, like May. Just realized this with our youngest who's graduating in May that, May is only 3 months away. Holy crap.
Yeah.
So...
Mm-hmm.
So there is something to that. It also calls out, when Tony Gilroy was doing press for Andor, he revealed the company Disney told him that streaming is basically dead. And so the article is saying this is kind of an interesting shift if this were to be the case. If Disney's taking the position that streaming isn't going to be viable in the near future, why would you shift one of your biggest Star Wars properties over to it then? So anyway, so it's just kind of bringing up a few facts about this, and basically working off the idea that if the Mandalorian Grogu does not end up being a big hit, that it could ripple to other projects and result in them staying kind of in a streaming only format. What say you, sir?
I think this is another one that's horsepucky. I don't feel bad at all for not knowing who Daniel Richtman is, because I'm pretty sure that Filoni doesn't know who he is either.
Okay.
Here's the thing that I have, and this could be my own ignorance, because God knows I've had enough of that in my life. I don't understand how shifting to streaming is going to save a ton of money.
Yeah.
The only way I see that saving money is in marketing, because we've seen with especially The Acolyte and Andor, and I think even Ahsoka, like when we ran the numbers on those, like you look at the amount of basically the money per minute of footage of like finished programming, content, however you want to put it, you're getting into movie money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not saving that much. Like, I can see that you save on the marketing aspect, because with marketing, well, actually, I don't even know if you save that much, because I was going to say you market it on your own streaming platform, but you're not just marketing it there. You still have to get the word out, because you're trying to draw people to your platform to subscribe to the platform so that you actually make money off it. Because that's the other aspect of this, is like how, like, it's not that I don't think streaming is dead.
Mm-hmm.
I find that hilarious every time someone's like, oh, print is dead. This is dead. That is dead. It's not dead. It's just going to be, it might not be at the level it used to be. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think streaming is dead. I think that it's not the bonanza of profit. It's not the Scrooge McDuck swimming through the vault full of money. It is not the capitalistic gangbang that everybody thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, people kind of neglected to realize, like, oh, and how are we really going to make money off of this? Like, how are we really going to know what's success? Like, how, aside from like, oh, well, people are viewing this, how are we going to tie that to the subscription? You know, how are we going to tie that to this and that and the other, and really show that, okay, this was profitable as more so than this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that people are having a really tough time figuring out those economics.
Yeah.
So again, like, I don't see how that is going to save you money. If anything, it's like, if Mando and Grogu underperform, they're not going to make the movie. Because I really don't see how spending 2/3 the budget of a 2-hour movie to make say every episode is 45 minutes, you do 8 episodes or whatever, to make essentially like 2 movies. You spend the 2/3 to make basically 2 movies that's on a platform that you're not getting a direct ticket sale for. Like, explain to me how that actually makes that money back when you're still out there promoting. Like, it almost seems like that's worse.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be better off to make some cheap version of it. Excuse me, and I'm not suggesting this, and do the Batgirl route, where then you're like, oh, well, we're just not going to release it and tax write-off. Because again, Hollywood accounting is so heinously warped that it almost bends in on itself, that you can do such things and that it works financially. Like, that seems more likely than, oh, well, we'll just make it a streaming show.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, that to me sounds so ignorant of an explanation, because I'm like, and what magic wand are you going to pull out of your ass to wave and all of a sudden be like, and bing, it's profitable now? Like, no, unless there's some way that they're doing that and you're getting a similar financial break somewhere, because they're like, see, our streaming thing, which is not making a whole bunch of money, made a whole lot less. Like, maybe that's the thing. Like, they're trying to tank Disney Plus so that it's, you know, almost like they do with a lot of these movies, where like, well, golly shucks, Lord of the Rings never made a profit. How in the hell is that? You know, like, and through whatever funky accounting practices there are. That's the only way I can understand this working. Otherwise, it sounds like such a cockamamie way to just be like, well, here's something that would be cool. And it's like, it's another fan theory. Like, in what real world does that actually make sense? There ended my rant. What do you think, sir?
I don't know. I kind of feel like, I mean, yes, there's probably some truth to the idea that if Mando and Grogu, for whatever reason, bombs, that's probably going to give, or underperforms, that's going to give Disney some pause. I could see them. I don't see a world where Filoni's, you know, crossover story that he wants to tell is never made. I think it'll be made in some way, shape, or form. I'd like to think that, you know, there's also Starfighter that's coming out next year, I think. I'd like to think they wouldn't cancel that. And then, of course, there's Daisy Ridley's movie that's coming out. So we have a few vehicles that are coming out here, and it would be good to kind of get a pulse to see, do they market it well enough and generate enough interest that gets people to go to the theaters, which is already a challenge in and of itself. Because, you know, theaters are taking a thumping at this point. So I stay cautiously optimistic. I feel that Filoni has earned enough goodwill with Disney that regardless of how it performs, I think they will commit to this story and telling it in the theater. But, you know, never say never. And you have to kind of also follow where the dollars go. And if the dollars are not flowing to Mando and Grogu, then yeah, they could say, well, maybe we don't do this on the big screen. Let's break this up into a kind of a limited series like they did with, you know, because Kenobi was supposed to be a theatrical release and Boba Fett was supposed to be a theatrical release. And both of those got, you know, basically put into the streaming format. And honestly, I think it served them both really well. You know, I think that was that, you know, like I feel like, and we've talked about this, I think streaming, well, No, we didn't. We said for Kenobi, we think Kenobi would have made a better movie because they did have to kind of stretch it out to get the number of episodes they wanted. Book of Boba Fett, I think, was good as it was in a series. I just think there were things that could have been done better with it, in terms of execution. So we will see. But I remain cautiously optimistic that they can pull it off.
Do you feel like this might be like an undercover release of almost like trying to hold the fans hostage? Like, if you don't go see Mando and Grogu, you're not going to get Ahsoka and Thrawn and all this. So you better go to the theater. You better go a couple times because
are you saying Disney's playing parental reverse psychology tactics on us? Is that what you're saying?
Could be.
Possibly. We shall see.
Yeah,
we shall see.
Hey, that's a nice idea for a Thrawn movie you got there. It'd be a shame if something happened to it.
Uncle Todd's gone full Godfather Corleone family on this whole great. The Star Wars universe is basically run by the mob, is what he's saying.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying some associates of mine, Moose and Tony, they might come over and you want to see that Starfighter movie. Well,
Jabba the Hutt might send Bosk over to your house and knocking on the door.
Get a couple of your friends and go to the theater. Make sure you buy the popcorn too. It's
hey. All right. Well, enough. I got to tell you, when I first looked at this name for this site, so I said Geek Tyrant, but when you look at it, the first thing I think of is Geekity. When you see Geek TY, it I don't know, my head goes to Geekity, and it's like Geekity Rant, which is then it's like a little offshoot of Screen Rant, I guess. I don't know.
Perhaps.
But thank you to our friends at geektyrant.com for that little bit of news. We will see. Now, I threw this one in. This is a real quick bit. I just didn't know if Uncle Todd had seen this, but apparently last night, I have not done a lot of research into this. I just saw this article this morning, and it made me laugh. But apparently last night, there was a boxing card in New York, and in the undercard, two fighters. Let me see. Where the heck is his name? Gerald Miller. Who is he fighting? Kingsley Iba and Gerald Miller were fighting, and apparently in the third round, Iba landed enough shots to Miller's head that his toupee ended up flapping in the air and revealing a fully bald scalp. Miller took the development in stride, ripping off the piece at the end of the round and throwing it into the crowd.
I'm watching the video. Oh my gosh!
He spent the rest of the fight with a ring around his scalp like a Franciscan monk.
Yeah, I mean
that is the strangest damn thing you will see.
And somebody found it.
Yep,
somebody's holding up the toupee. Oh my gosh!
I mean, just watching the action and seeing it just like flap up there, and then he's getting punched, and it's just like poing.
Oh my gosh! So it's WBC interim female super bantamweight champion Sky Nicholson went a step further. She tried on the toupee. She found it and then tried it on.
Oh my god! It was on his sweaty head too.
I mean,
even his opponent is smiling when it's happening. Like, I can't believe this is happening, but he did it.
Like, you see the dude's hair. It's like, dude, I just don't understand why he didn't shave. Just shave it. Because he's got the little like, the little bitty here, and then he's got the sides and the back. But it's like, it's little, like a little pencil line in the front.
I will just say, as one who is in the fraternity of the follically challenged, embrace it and lean in on it. You know what I mean? Like just it is what it is, and if folks don't want to like you for it, that's their issue. So, you know what I mean?
So after the fight, Miller explained that his baldness was actually a recent development brought on by a chemical mishap at his mother's house. Oh my, what? Why did you say the dog ate your hair? Here it is. I get to my mama's house and she had some shampoo bottles under her table and I shampooed. That shit was like ammonia and bleach. I only lost my hair like 2 days ago. So I called my manager. He was like, let me slap that shit on real quick. I've been knocking that shit off. But like I said before, it's funny, man. I'm a comedian. I don't, like in 2 days you got a toupee. Does that sound realistic to you?
It doesn't. It just sounds weird, is what it sounds. You know, it's kind of funny when I look at the picture of his of his head.
And it's
when
too
he's
bad
got
his girlfriend couldn't make the fight, but she lives in Canada. You know.
when he has the ring around his head, it reminds me of Joe Pesci from Home Alone.
Yes.
So Jared Miller, we thank you for the comedy. We here at the Week in Geek do appreciate this sort of tomfoolery and ballyhoo, and well done accepting it in stride.
He won the fight too, so I guess that helps a little.
It does help a little bit, but I mean, just when it happens, the way he just kind of like just moves on and doesn't even like. Because what are you going to do in that moment? Get embarrassed about it? It's like you just got to embrace it at that point. Be like, here I am.
Yep.
Everyone, I'm Joe Pesciing it for the rest of the night. Here we go.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh. Incredible. All right. And then lastly, not to end on a downer, but, you know, we do got to honor
not
those.
to end it in a downer, but we're going to.
Yeah, maybe I should have ended on the hairpiece story rather than this. But at the same time.
Too late now.
First it was one, but it's actually two individuals who have had a cultural effect on probably both of us at one point or another. But Demond Wilson, who starred as Lamont Sanford in Sanford and Son, died on Friday at the age of 79. And so, yes, Lamont, who was also called Dummy. But
I was going to say, man.
Hey, Dummy.
First meathead, then Dummy. I mean,
I know.
It's been a rough year.
Oh my gosh! But no, Wilson was kind of a fixture on TV. He was. I'm trying to find his rundown here. I believe he was part. Let's see. Starred on the new Odd Couple. I thought he was a part of All. Yeah, he was part of All in the Family. Had some small roles in some other films. Sidney Poitier film, Michael Crichton adaptation dealing.
Sidney Poitier.
Oh my God.
Sidney Poitier.
Just stop it.
Put a little respect on the man's name. I'm just saying.
I said Sidney Poitier.
You said like Pornier or something.
I did not. I said Poitier.
Portier.
Oh my gosh.
Get the
if it's
T
not
in
the exact cadence that you like to hear it, it's wrong. I don't understand it. He was also in the Love Boat. He's also in the Love Boat.
Well, who wasn't? I mean, pretty much, I'm sure we were up for a spot at one point. Everyone was on the Love Boat. That's why there was so many cases of VD in the 70s.
Well, you know. All right. Well, so we will raise our glass. We will raise a glass to Demond Wilson for being one half of a titular and very I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. Just an iconic duo of Sanford and Son from the late 70s. And man, does that theme funks it up like no one else. Well, maybe Barney Miller's close. So.
Oh, Barney Miller's badass. But the thing is, you got to listen to the whole Sanford and Son theme, like the bridge of that song.
Oh yeah, yep.
Quincy Jones.
Very nice, very nice. And then lastly, another sad occurrence. Let's see, he was 79. But we also on Friday as well, Catherine O'Hara passed away. Unfortunately, she of Home Alone, Schitt's Creek. A lot of other movies. SCTV is where I think she started, and she was part of that trilogy of movies: Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show, and A Mighty Wind. But yeah, apparently she had been dealing with an illness. Beetlejuice. Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, she definitely cornered the market on the wacky mother routine. So she was phenomenal, and yeah, it was very shocking and sad to hear of her passing at 71.
Was she sick or anything, or was it just sudden?
It said all they've said so far is she was dealing with an illness, and that's what caused it. I did read something that, and I don't know, maybe this is what was a crazy rumor sort of thing, but I believe she had said in an interview that she has this condition where I forget the name of it, but her some of her organs in her mid cavity are reversed, so her heart is actually on her right side, not her left. There's apparently and not that this had anything to do. I don't know if this had anything to do with her death, but it was just something that she lived with. But basically, the way your organs are arranged typically in the human body are actually reversed. So they're kind of like the mirror image. So she apparently had a health issue at a time, and when they did an MRI, they basically found that her organs were flipped around, which was a little interesting. So, but yeah, and I haven't, I believe I saw Macaulay Culkin, I think, had right away a very poignant, sort of thing that he either tweeted out or sent out about her. Just one of those things about, thinking he had more time. I mean, 71 is young, it is still young.
I love how back in the day we'd be like, that's ancient. And now as we approach are getting within striking distance, they're so young.
They are. It's not so bad.
When we were 25, you're like, dear Lord, they're just like a pile of dust being held together by like a sweater. And now like when I am T-minus 3 days until 50.
That's right.
71 is, I'm like, oh, it's so young.
That's
so
right.
soon.
I know.
I'm realizing my own self-interest in that. I'm like, I'm just pathetic.
Well,
just pathetic.
If you've never seen it, go watch Schitt's Creek. But one of the big jokes and one of the big bits that she did on that show with Eugene Levy's son, Dan Levy, was fold the cheese. And that was one of the funniest bits that the two of them did together. First time I watched it with my wife, we just tears crying. It was just so funny to see Catherine O'Hara trying to direct, her son, Dan Levy, of course, playing her son, but just yelling in a high-pitched, crazed tone about folding the cheese. And Dan Levy was like, I don't know how to fold the cheese. It's liquid. What do you want me to do? I mean, it was just this back and forth that was just so well done between the two of them. And you've got to see it to appreciate the comedy of it. But that's just, that was the comedic genius that she was. She always, and then of course, everything she did with Eugene Levy was always hysterical and funny. I do remember, when A Mighty Wind was up for I think Oscar for Best Song, both her and Eugene Levy were basically this couple who, this folk group. They weren't a couple. He played a character who was a little bit like very eccentric and kind of introverted. But when they got together, they just made this great music, and they played this song that was kind of a love song. And when they do it, it's just like, for just that moment, she and her foibles and he and his foibles completely go away, and the two of them are just like totally like in sync. And the performance they did live at the Oscars was really, I don't know, it just had an emotion to it. It was very sweet. It was very well done. And so anyways, the two of them were always just hysterical to see together and always did great things. So yes, we raise a glass to Catherine O'Hara. Thank you for making us laugh. Thank you for forgetting Kevin, because it made for a great movie. And hey, you got to ride in a van with I forget his name, but the polka band. So
John Candy.
What's that?
John Candy.
No, I know it was John Candy. I forget his character's name.
Oh,
the polka band, because he talks about how they're like this big band.
Yeah, it's the polka king of the Midwest. Or
that's
something
right. Yeah, with all of his 560 albums sold. So. Anything on Catherine O'Hara on your side?
No,
sir?
I'm just thankful that you got Eugene Levy's name right once in all of that, because you said Levy about 6 times, and I held my tongue, and then you finally said at the end, I was like, all right, finally, he got across the finish line on that one. So
look,
I'm proud of you, buddy.
I know we want to pretend we're a professional outfit here, but we're not. All right, I'm flying by the seat of my pants. I am holding on for dear life. Leave the names alone, for crying out loud! You're ruining my zen, man.
Good. That's what I'm here for. I'm Bobby the Brain. You're Gorilla Monsoon. Like, this is what we do.
Take it to the next segment. Jeez.
Well, I'll take it to the next segment and bring it right back to you. What do you have for And Another Thing? A recommendation for our viewers and listeners?
I'm not ready.
Tough.
All right. Well,
you're up.
Over Christmas, I received a couple of books for Christmas, and one of them is by Kara Swisher, who is a well-known writer and interviewer, journalist in the tech industry. Very knowledgeable, very insightful, asks really good questions. I mean, just she's a tough interviewer, but she does it because she has an understanding of the technology trends that are going on and where they're going, and she also sees what some of the billionaires are doing, and kind of calls BS on it. So it's called Burn Book, a tech love story. It came out in 2024, so it's a couple of years late to the game, per usual. But no, the description here reads, from award-winning journalist Kara Swisher comes a witty, scathing but fair accounting of the tech industry and its founders who wanted to change the world but broke it instead. Swisher, the badass journalist and OG chronicler of Silicon Valley, takes no prisoners in this highly readable look at the evolution of the digital world. Body brash and compulsively thought-provoking, just like its author. Burn Book sizzles. It is part memoir and part history, and she does a really great job of giving us, the reader, insight into how she forged relationships with all of these very well-known figures in the tech industry. How she and it's not so much about how smart she was to figure this out, but she just could see where some of the trends were going and some of the dangers, and certainly kind of what we're living through now, like with social media and other things, just the direction that it's all kind of gone in. She writes about conversations that she had with some of those tech leaders and warning about that, kind of talking through those things, and how some there are certainly some that operate in a space of wanting to really do the right thing for humanity, and then there's others that I think just looks at the world as a toy that they're kind of operating, sort of thing. And you can probably guess who some of those are. So
Some names do come to mind.
yeah, she doesn't pull punches. She is very very much direct and transparent about those that she likes and those that she doesn't like, but she gives very like it said in the description, she's very fair about it, though. She writes about, like, look, I don't not like these people because I have an axe to grind with them. It's like, here's what I don't like, and here's why. And she's very very open and direct about it, and that's something I've always appreciated about her. Listening to her podcasts, listening to her interviews that she used to do with Walt, what's the guy? Walt Moss something or other. Walt Mossberg. The two of them famously did in the early 2010s, I believe it was, a dual interview with Bill Gates and Steve Jobs when Steve Jobs was still alive. And that was a very fascinating interview, to have those two leaders of two opposing companies at various times in tech history, going at it. But yeah, no, very interesting book. So if you're interested in a little bit of a tech read and a little bit of insight from someone who has who really lived through the .com boom, just a lot of these major technological periods of change, yeah, I would definitely check this out because it is interesting and it's a good read. I like it.
Very cool.
How about you, sir? What is your in another thing?
I've actually swapped mine back because I was going to tie into I was going to tie into the whole Soviet space program, but then you had a book, so I figured I'll go with a book as well. So I'm back to where I started.
It's like the Spanish Inquisition. I'll come in again.
It's pretty much our entire show. It's just like, never mind.
Chief weapon is surprise. I'll come in again.
Yeah. I've got to go back and watch some of those. Any old who. So I'm going to recommend The Lies We Trade, a book by Christine Delano. Full disclosure, I actually know Christine and have been kind of, she's a friend of ours and have been following her process as she's gone through writing. Writing her first novel. I believe this is actually her second novel because as with a lot of times when you do scripts or any kind of creative endeavor, sometimes the first one is just basically practice. And so she published this book, and this is not self-published. This is like she legit got an agent, got herself a contract, and she's got a book deal, the whole deal. So it was very awesome. And then she just released the book mid-January, I think. Days are kind of flying by, and January had like 80 days in it this year. So I'm completely flummoxed as to the timeline exactly, but it was not released all that long ago. I'm not going to read the entire summary here. A high-powered Wall Street career, a beautiful family in a quiet suburban neighborhood. She seems to have everything, which means she has everything to lose. So this is the main character is an executive on Wall Street, which is what Christine's former profession was. And it's all about kind of this intrigue and an unfolding of the kind of some weird, shady stuff is happening through this fund that she is going through on Wall Street, and that it starts getting deeper and deeper and deeper. So it's very much kind of a thriller taking place in a Wall Street trading environment, and it's very interesting because it has multiple layers of career, family, and getting into all the confusion that goes in with a family. And I found it to be a very quick read, and it's kind of like a lot of books that are, that I've been reading kind of lately, and especially any kind of mystery / thriller. Shorter chapters for the most part, which kind of help you keep momentum. Where if you're going to pause for a minute, oh, I got another page and a half. You finish that chapter and you put it down for a couple minutes, then you can come back, because it does pull you back. You do, like, I found myself, okay, well, what's happening next? Okay, I'll read a little bit more. So it kind of creeps up on you, and you just find out yourself tearing through the book. So I would recommend that. Usually I like to recommend these things on Bookshop. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's for sale on Bookshop. So I put the Amazon link just because it's kind of the easiest, but find it at whatever. I'm sure it's Barnes & Noble and a whole bunch of others. She's actually doing a bunch of different signings in cities. She's going to be in Chicago, I think, in February at one point.
When you're out?
No, that would have been far too convenient and cool.
Serendipitous.
It would have been, and we could have both frozen. All three of us could have frozen. But no, definitely check it out. It's a fun, not really a fun read, but it's a quick read and interesting, and especially if you're not as. And the thing is, if you don't know about Wall Street, if I don't understand, like, she does a really good job of explaining stuff without it feeling like a complete info dump. You know what I mean? So you do not need to have a lot of background in how Wall Street works in order to understand the story and understand what's going on. She does a really great job of kind of feeding you the tidbits that you need, and then you can kind of just fill in the rest. So give that a look, ladies and gentlemen. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our show for this week in Geek Wednesday. Thank you all for joining us. We do so appreciate it. If you want to find all of our episodes, you can go to freerangeidiocy.com, and you'll find all of our audio episodes there to download. You can also subscribe to the Podbean app. You can find us on all the major podcast purveyors like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, the aforementioned Amazon, and many, 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 many more. So just find whatever you use to get your podcast, search for Free Range Idiocy. You're probably going to find us there. Full video is available on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/@freerangeidiocy. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram. Both of those are @freerangeidiocy as well. We like to keep it consistent, mostly because we'll forget it otherwise. If you have any questions, thoughts, or concerns, or some tips on articles that you'd like us to discuss, send those to tim@freerangeidiocy.com. He'll get back to you forthwith, if not sooner. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to hand this on back to the man who had this idea for this segment and this show in general. The man they call Tim, and he's going to take us home once again.
Indeed. To the interwebs, we say, you suspect. We don't know what your reputation is in this town, but after what you tried to pull today, you can bet we'll be looking into you. And to our listeners, we say good day, ladies and gentlemen. And until that day comes, keep your ear to the grindstone.
You're messing with my Zen thing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost got it.
Now get the hell out of here!